My question to you, sir, is that our neighborhood is often shaped by asymmetry and volatile domestic politics. Given the recent security and political shifts in Bangladesh, which was underlined by the fact that you visited there 2 days ago, how is India recalibrating its neighborhood first policy while maintaining a stature of non-interference and protecting our security interests?
Yes, I was there in Bangladesh just 2 days ago. I had gone to represent India at the funeral of the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Begum Khaleda Zia. But let me actually take your question in a somewhat broader format, not just Bangladesh, but neighborhood as a whole. Okay. We are blessed with a lot of neighbors of various kinds, and I want to answer your question in a very common sense kind of way, because at the end of the day, people make out as though diplomacy is rocket science. It's common sense in kind of polished language. Now, what do you do in common sense with a neighbor? Any neighbor. I mean, you are in a hostel, you have neighbors. If you have a neighbor who is good to you, or at least who is not harmful to you, your natural instinct is to be kind, is to help that neighbor. If the neighbor has a problem, you would like to contribute in some way. If nothing else, you'll say hello. You will try to build friendships, bonding, etc. And that's what we do as a country. So when you look around our neighborhood, wherever actually there's a sense of good neighborliness, I think you have seen India invest, India help, India share. So, we were talking about the COVID. Most of our neighbors got their first shipment of vaccines from India. Again, when our vaccination program was still going on. Okay. Then, I'll give you a second example, the Ukraine conflict. Because of the Ukraine conflict, there was there were food shortages, there were fuel shortages, there were financial crises. Now, again, with many of our neighbors, we supplied fuel, we helped out with food, we helped out with fertilizer, and in a sense, we were sharing what we had. Now, some neighbors went through very exceptional stresses. A very notable one was Sri Lanka. That Sri Lanka actually had an acute financial crisis. And we actually stepped up with a package of $4 billion at a time when, their negotiations with the IMF were still sort of moving at a very glacial pace. So that's what, in a way, good neighbors can do. I mean, just recently, there was a cyclone in Sri Lanka called Ditwa. The day the cyclone happened, by that very afternoon, we were there. We were there with help. Our ships were at the port, but within a day, our helicopters reached there. Our rescue teams were there. I went there myself with a few days later with a kind of a reconstruction, rebuilding package. And believe me, if you ask the average person, they have that sense that, look, I have a neighbor like India. I know when things get bad, I can rely on a country like this. And again, it doesn't have to be a crisis. You also work with neighbors by power grids, by waterways, by roads, by ports, by doing business, by helping tourism, by having people come for medical treatment. So this is the positive scenario. But you can also have bad neighbors. Unfortunately, we do. Now, when you have bad neighbors, and if you look to the one to the west, if a country decides that they will deliberately, persistently, unrepentantly continue with terrorism, we have a right to defend our people against terrorism. We will exercise that right. How we exercise that right is up to us. Nobody can tell us what we should do or not. We will do whatever we have to do to defend ourselves. It's a common sense proposition. Now, again, as I said, a lot of it is goodwill. You know, many years ago, we agreed to a water arrangement, water sharing arrangement, because the belief, the underpinning of that was, it was a gesture of goodwill, because for good neighborliness we were doing it. But if you had decades of terrorism, there is no good neighborliness. If there is no good neighborliness, you don't get the benefits of that good neighborliness. You can't say, I will, please share water with me, but I will continue terrorism with you. That's not reconcilable. So I think there is as I said, a good neighbor, bad neighbor, but an overall neighborhood policy. Most of our neighbors, I think, have, a realization that India's growth is today a lifting tide. That if India grows, all our neighbors will grow with us. They will have many more opportunities. I think that, in a sense, is the message which I also took to Bangladesh. And yes, I mean, they are right now heading for their elections. We wish them well in that election. We hope that once things settle down, as I said, the sense of neighborliness in this region will grow.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.